Hello, beautiful people. Today is 21st of July. My name is Sahil and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today we'll take a quote from the great Albert Einstein, the notable physicist. He says that the world as we have created, it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Guys, I believe that this idea resonates with the idea of Mahatma Gandhi ji, where Gandhi ji says that what you think becomes your speech, what you speak becomes your action, and as you act, you make the world. So essentially, without bringing a fundamental change into the thought processes, into the attitude, the change cannot come. And this thing is true not only onto the individual level, but onto the entire societal level, institutional level, as well as government's level. For example, onto the societal level, if a collective thinking or if a collective conscience against removal of the discrimination, inequality, etc., will not be coming, till then there is no reform possible. Similarly, onto the governmental level, if the attitude, thinking, or the thought process of removing the corruption, mismanagement will not come, similarly, there will also be no change. So, guys, thinking precedes the change, and this particular quote we can use into the GS paper number 4 into the questions of the attitude, as well as into the questions as how the ethical behavior comes from the ethical thinking. Further, guys, this particular thing can also be used into the GS paper number 2 governance related question, where we can say that the change in government doesn't comes without the change into the government's thinking. Now, guys, the main question that I gave you yesterday. So, the question says that India, being a land of Buddha, is bound by a cultural pledge to enact anti torture law. Discuss and suggest what development has been carried in this regard. Now, guys, into the introduction, first of all, you can strengthen the statement which had already been given. We can start that India has been the net exporter of global fraternity and brotherhood under the banner of Vaishvik Sadbhavana, and in this regard, India has played the role of the Vishwa Guru. Now, guys, the value of Vasudev Kutumbakam has been over exploited in UPSC. It has become old. Please drop it. Now, guys, further anti torture law. So, you can give a reference that India had already signed the United Nations Convention against torture but had not ratified due to its own reservations, but onto the historical precedents it doesn't sets a good mark. Moreover, you can also write about the 273rd report of the Law Commission, where it has been said that India should ratify the United Nations Convention against the torture. Moreover, guys, against the torture, we had also brought the 2017 anti-torture bill, but due to the lacunas, it has not been passed. And now in 2020, it is high time that a renewed anti torture bill should be introduced and should be passed so that India can redeem the cultural credentials that it has had. Moreover, guys, into the new bill, the provisions such as the provision of anticipatory bail, the provision for the punishment, investigation, etc., should also be kept in mind. So, guys, this is the bare framework or the thinking line on which you need to develop. Moreover, comprehensively into the last class, we had discussed the problems here. So, whatever the problems are, just reverse them and make them the provisions of the 2020 suggested bill. So, that's it. And now let's take the newspaper analysis. Now, guys, let's take up the overview of the entire newspaper. But before that, if you don't know, every day we provide the PDF notes of our newspaper discussion. You can go to our Telegram channel. The link has been provided into the description. Now, guys, the first news is with respect to the UK Oxford Chadox vaccine. Now, today, with respect to the science and tech, we will discuss this particular news item because it could be a major breakthrough into the COVID 19. Then, guys, moving forward, here the postal ballot has been mentioned. So today, with respect to the RPA 1951, we'll discuss this. And now moving forward, guys, onto the city page, we can see that important news has not been given. Only the Delhi city related news are there. Moreover, onto the other regional pages also, important news has not been given with respect to the UPSC. So, guys, finally we'll reach to the editorial. So, guys, this first editorial talks about the COVID-19 crisis into the health sector. Now, it has been said that there are 733 districts which have the majority of COVID-19 cases. How we can control or we can tame them. But guys, the time when your exam will come, this entire data, these districts will be changing. Moreover, we don't know that what will be the health scenario, so at that point of time this article will become redundant, so no need to read it. Now guys, this article is on to the decision of reopening of school. Then guys, this particular article is talking about the recently taken railway reforms, we'll be discussing it. Then guys, this article is about the mob rule. Then guys, Hagia Sophia we don't need to discuss. Then it is about the community canteen 2.0, a very excellent good article guys, we'll see very good things here. Then after that, moving it on to this particular page, only the earlier news have been continued, nothing important has been given here guys. We'll see that how India is abiding to the NAM right now. Good reference for the exam. Then further guys, moving forward here, a twist into the Chabahar story has come, so we'll see this thing. Then guys, Essex has been mentioned, so we will see this. Then guys, new commerce policy has been given, we'll see this thing again. Then guys, the showcase page not important for our exam. After that guys, onto the world page, the extradition treaty with respect to the Hong Kong will be seeing this. Then guys, the Hope mission will be seeing this thing. Then guys, onto the business page, only the corporate news has been given, nothing important for the exam. And then the sports page, and nothing has been given here. So guys, now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now friends, is starting up. So first news is with respect to the UK vaccine, whose human trials are going on. And now into these human trials, it has been seen that when the tests were carried, then successful immune response have been noted into the people who were administered the vaccine. So this is a very good news. Now guys, before going into this particular thing, let's have a look onto the vaccine that we are talking about, because it could be a major breakthrough into the COVID-19, as this vaccine is into the final stages of the human trials and could be the first vaccine which will be administered to the general public against the COVID-19. Now guys, this Chedox 1, this particular vaccine is being developed by the University of Oxford, and it works onto the principle of immunogenicity. Guys will understand this. Now this Chedox 1 vaccine, it actually contains the strain of adenovirus which causes a common cold into the chimpanzees. Now we'll leave them here for a minute. Now guys, see, the COVID-19 virus or the SARS-CoV-2 virus, it actually has two things. First of all, inside this particular shell, there is the RNA genetic material, which is a kind of a genetic code, and onto the surface you can find these spike like structures. Now these spike like structures are the one which causes all the problem. Now, friends, in order to cause the disease, this virus or the RNA into this particular virus, it needs to make entry into the human cell. Now, see, if we see the structure of the human cell, then it contains a particular kind of receptors which are called as the ACE receptors. Now, incidentally, the structure of this ACE receptor as well as the structure of this spike or this glycoprotein is just like that. They fits with each other just like a lock and key. And from here, the RNA material which is contained into the virus, it travels into the human cell. And upon reaching the human cell, the cell itself starts replicating this RNA, and even millions and billions of copies of the SARS-CoV-2 virus is made, and from here it spreads to the entire body. Now guys, the adenovirus, it contains a particular protein whose structure is similar to the glycoprotein or the spike like structures which are present over the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Now, guys, into the Chedox 1 vaccine, this adenovirus is being further genetically modified to resemble exactly like to the SARS-CoV-2. Moreover, it is also deliberately being made very weak. So, as this vaccine will be administered to the human body, a foreign substance or a foreign antigen will enter into our body, and automatically our immune system will be ignited, and our immune system will develop the antibody in response to this antigen or in response to this foreign substance. Now guys, the idea is this, that these antibodies will helping us when actual SARS-CoV-2 will be attacking. Now, if you remember, in the very start, I told you the concept of the immunogenicity. So, it is the ability of a foreign substance to provoke our immune system. So, guys, it is a immunogenic drug. Why? Because here a foreign virus is being administered, it will ignite our immune system, and before actual virus encounters our body's immune system will be deployed. So guys, this is the entire philosophy which is behind this particular vaccine. And now come back to the news, guys. So here we can see that the vaccine prompts a protective immune response. So the response has been developed into the people, and now they are comparatively protected against the SARS-CoV-2. But the actual reports will be coming when the entire test will be culminated. Now, guys, there are certain side effects of this vaccine also, that there will be the fever and there will be the common cold into the initial days, but that can be managed. It is not that much severe. However, still studies are going, though it is the final stage, but we need to wait for the final report. So that's it about this entire thing. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, we can see that it has been said that there will be no postal ballot for the ones above 65 years of age due to the problem of logistics. Now, guys, earlier also in one editorial we had talked about the alternative voting systems, but today we will be specifically be looking into the postal ballot under the light of Representation of People Act, which has been mentioned in GS paper number 2. Now, first of all, as name suggests, postal ballot is the way of exercising a vote by the way of the post. Now, the provision of postal ballot has been mentioned into the section number 60 of the Representation of People Act 1951. It lists that who are allowed to avail the facility of the postal ballot. So, first of all, the personals from the defense forces, that is from the army, navy, and air forces, are allowed that they can exercise the vote by this. Then, the armed police forces, their members who are serving outside the state, they are allowed. Then the government employees posted outside India and even their spouses, they are allowed. After that, guys, please note here, the people who are under the preventive detention, they can also cast the postal ballot. Then, guys, there are certain special voters also. For example, the president of India, the vice president, governor, union cabinet ministers, speaker, the government officers on to the poll duty, they are also allowed to cast the vote by the postal ballot. But guys, they have to allow by a special facility into the prescribed format. And finally, guys, into the section number 60, there has also been mentioned that the Election Commission of India, in consultation with the government, can also notify certain new categories of people who could be allowed under the postal ballot. And in this direction only, guys, just recently the law ministry, onto the insistence of Election Commission of India, allowed a new category, that is the absentee voters. Now these are the people who are involved into the essential services, and by the nature of their job they are not able to go for the regular voting, so they are also allowed. And guys, on to the similar lines, after the absentee voters, the people above the 65 years of age, they were also allowed to cast the postal ballot because of their vulnerability. And now, when we are reading this particular news item, so there it has been said that this particular new category of voter, that is 65 years of age, they will not be allowed to cast their vote by the postal ballot due to the logistic challenge. Guys, into the Bihar, there are elections now due, and there are more than 72 lakh people who fall into this particular category. And now it has been observed that mobilizing the postal ballot facility will not be possible. So they are rolling back the decision which has been given in this regard. So, guys, that's it. Not about the Bihar situation, but everything about the postal ballot. And now we'll move to next. Now, guys, we are into the editorial section, and the first editorial talks about bringing the reform into the railways. Now, first of all, any discussion on railway is very crucial because Indian Railway is not only a transporter, rather, it plays diverse roles. For example, It plays a social role as it is a mobilizer of people across the different sections of society, across a different demographic profile, different income standards, different belief, different religion, etc. And by bringing them together, it plays a role of a social integrator. Moreover, guys, onto the social front, it is also the transport medium of the poor people, as the fare into the general coaches is one amongst the lowest into the entire world. So it has a lot of a social role. Secondly, it also plays a huge economic role because, guys, a lot of freight movement from the hinterland to the ports or to the commercial, economic, industrial capital is made by railways through its freight segment. In this particular dimension, the Concor or the Container Corporation of India plays an important role. Then, guys, it happens to be a mobilizer and connects the different regions. So the spatial differences, the geographical differences are also reduced by the railways. And due to such important relevance, any discussion or any decision on railways becomes a sensitive issue. Now, guys, in this particular light, Railway Ministry had just announced that it is exploring to allow 151 trains on 109 routes to be operated by the private players. For this, a tender process will be started, and onto the basis of competitive bidding, the routes will be allocated to the private players. Now it has been said that this particular move will be bringing large benefits to the Indian railways. And guys, these are the exactly points which you need to write whenever you are writing in favor of the privatization of railways. And now the point number one. So, guys, railways will introduce modern technology, modern rolling stock with reduced maintenance. Then it will reduce the transit time, will boost the job creation, will provide enhanced safety, and will also provide the world class travel experience to the passengers. And guys, at the same time, there is the demand supply shortages. People are not able to avail the tickets, so in that particular direction it will also reduce the demand supply deficit in the passenger transportation sector. So, guys, all these are the benefits of the privatization, and due to this thing only, the countries such as the United Kingdom and Japan had already went for the privatization of the railways. However, on the other hand, guys, there are also the criticisms with respect to this particular move. However, before going into the criticism, guys, we need to see that on what direction the privatization is being invited. First of all, guys, it has been said that the private player need to pay the fixed as well as actual consumption charges to the government. Now, fixed charges are onto the account of the haulage charge, the using of the fixed infrastructure, etc. Whereas the actual consumption charges will be for the usage of energy, for example, electricity, which will be used by the private trains. Then, guys, secondly, the coaches which will be used by the private trains are needed to be procured by the Indian Railways, because there are no international uniform standard of railways in India. So these coaches will be provided by the government only. Then, guys, the maintenance of such coaches is the responsibility of the private player. However, the operation of the private trains will be done by the existing railway staff. So the loco pilots will be the railway staff, the security will be provided by the Indian Railways, etc. Then, guys, the fare or the tariff or the price or of the tickets will be fixed by the private player. And finally, the new trains which will be allowed, they will be the high speed trains will be which will be running at the speed of 160 km per hour. And after this understanding, now we will see the criticism part. So, guys, first of all, see here, the a lot of charges are needed to be paid by the private player, and at the same time, the price for the ticket can also be fixed by the private player. And we know that private players are always moved by the orientation of profit. And therefore, guys, after covering all the cost and after keeping a profit margin, the ticket prices will be so high that it will not be affordable for the poor section. Then, guys, we had seen that the coach maintenance needs to be done by the private player. There could be a possibility that onto the pretext of cost saving, many a safeguard might not be taken, which might result to the accidents. Then guys, we had seen that the railways are owned by the private, but their operation is being carried by the railway staff. So what into the case of accident, who will actually be bearing the liability? And in this particular guy thing, the guys, there will be a lot of dispute which will be coming, and as there is no independent dispute regulator also into the Indian railways, there will be again the problem. After that, we can see that these will be the high speed trains which will be running at the speed of 160 kilometer per hour. But if we see the present condition of the railway tracks, then the majority of railway tracks are not equipped to support this high speed. They can only maximum support the speed of 110 kilometer per hour. So therefore the track upgradation, track enhancement, track strengthening also needed to be taken care of, and on that particular direction nothing has been thought by the railways. And thus, by seeing all these points, we can say that a still lot of homework needs to be done with respect to the entry of the private players. And clearly, without taking all these concerns into the mind, any move will be attracting more criticism than the benefits. But anyhow, guys, if we need to decentralize, then as a way forward, we can provide that rather than attracting the entire unexperienced private sector, we should give the scope to the IRCTC, that is the Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation, which have the earlier experience of running the train such as the Tejas Railways. Moreover, guys, as IRCTC's operational ownership is under the government, at the end of the day, everything that is maintenance, operation, procurement will be under a single entity and there will be no dispute. Moreover, IRCTC into the past few years had proved that it is moving towards the professional competence. So, all the benefits of the privatization will also be coming if we give all the responsibility to the IRCTC. So guys, that's it all about this particular article, and now we'll move to next. Now guys, this particular article addresses the concern of hunger. Now recently, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana has been extended for next 3 months. Now guys, under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, 5 kg food grains plus 1 kg chana extra will be given to the beneficiaries of the National Food Security Act. Now, guys, just a very quick revision. See, under National Food Security Act, nearly 66% population of India get the subsidized food grain. It covers 75% people into the rural areas, 50% people into the urban areas. So total on country level, 66% people are covered. Now, guys, under NFSA, there are two type of households. One are the priority household, other are the Antyodaya Ann Yojana household. So this AAY are the more vulnerable one. Now guys, the priority household, the entitlement of food are given onto the individual level. So 5 kg per individual are given. Here under the Antyodaya Ann Yojana, entitlements are given onto the family level. So here 35 kg per family is given. Moreover, benefits up to rupees 6,000 also will be given to the pregnant and lactating mothers, as well as there is also the provision of nutritious food meals for the children up to the age group of 14. However, guys, will not go into the detail now. So here under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, what has happened, whatever earlier they were getting, along with it, this extra they will also be getting. And by this particular move, it has been said that nearly 80 crore people will be getting the benefit. Moreover, guys, apart from this, one nation, one ration card scheme, it has also been said will be implemented as early as possible. And by the virtue of this particular scheme, a person having a ration card from Bihar will be able to get a food from other states such as Karnataka, Maharashtra, anywhere into the country. So the ration card portability will come. Now, guys, still, there is substantial population which has not been addressed even by such a kind of reforms, because still there is a substantial population which is dependent on to the roadside eateries or roadside dhabas to get their meal. because simply, guys, getting the subsidized food grain is not enough to get a meal. Rather, you need to have a house to cook the food, you need to have the gas connection, or you need to have the functional fuel supply. But there are large number of people who cannot afford all of them, and therefore they eat food onto the roadside eateries or dhabas. So into this particular direction, it has been said that there could have been the concept of the community canteens, where people are provided with the subsidized cooked meals. As of now, the 10 states are running such kind of community canteens, and the most famous are the Amma canteens of the Tamil Nadu and the Indira canteens of the Karnataka. However, guys, there is a problem into the existing structure. Number one, these community canteens, the prices of meals have been substantially low, and therefore they are dependent onto the government contribution, and therefore their expansion in all the areas have also been restricted, because endlessly government cannot contribute. So it has been said that if we liberally increase the price of the meal, for example, right now they are at 5 rupees to 10 rupees per meal, if we increase them to 15 rupees to 20 rupees per meal, they will be substantially lower than the meals offered by the dhabas. But at this point of time, the operationality of the canteens will be the self sustaining, and government's continuous support will not be needed, and in that particular capacity government can only come to provide the seed capital for opening the canteen, and after the sustainability will be onto their own. And guys, by providing the initial seed capital of nearly 26,500 crore rupees, in our country we can make 60,000 canteens and 8,200 kitchens, and all of them can serve to nearly 30 million people. They can get the three food meals in a day. So guys, one time investment can bring so much of the benefit. Moreover, with respect to the day to day functioning and day to day management, it has been said that the into the rural areas, the local panchayat, and into the urban areas, the municipal committees or municipal corporations should be given the work with respect to the management, and the benefits will not only cease here. Rather, into such so many of the eateries and the canteens, there will be the job creation, and it has been said that 1.2 million people will also be getting the job here. So actually it is a win-win situation. Now guys, not only the hunger will be meted out here, but we will also be able to meet the sustainable developmental goals. For example, SDG number 2 talks about the zero hunger. So by providing the three meal, that problem will be solved. After that, the sustainable developmental goal number 1 talks about no poverty, and when people need not to shell much of their income into the consumption, and when such people will get the job employment, the problem of poverty will also be reduced. And guys, at the end of the day, if you remember, we had seen a huge reverse migration into the past, and this initiation of canteens could be a much incentive, as this can attract the people back, because they will now be assured that they will not be dying hungry into the urban centers. So guys, this is actually a very excellent article. You can readily use it into your GS answers. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, here we have two article. This article is talking about the reopening of school onto the basis of the present number of COVID-19 cases. However guys, with respect to the exam, substance has not been given here. Rather, onto the yesterday's newspaper analysis at this particular timestamp, we had done the tabular analysis as what are the pros and what are the cons in opening the school along with the way forward. So guys, rather than reading this, I will suggest you that you can see the yesterday's newspaper analysis if you have not done. Then this particular article talks about the lynching that occurred 2 days back into the Assam. Guys, we are not interested into one particular incident. Rather, there is a bigger crisis of mobocracy which is going on, and that I had taken again into the yesterday's newspaper discussion along with the Supreme Court judgments. So guys, you can refer it, because this is the substance which you need to write into our exams. However, unnecessarily, I'll not waste your time into the same repetition. Therefore, now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular news we can see as a reference. If you are following, then we had seen that now India is saying that it is considering the Australia's inclusion into the Malabar exercise. And because of Australia's inclusion, it is being said that it will lead to the militarization of the Quad, which is represented by the four people, that is the India, Australia, USA, as well as Japan. And this particular move has also been criticized. If you remember yesterday's editorial, we had seen that China is now accusing India that India is making the Asian NATO, which is not good for the regional stability. And because of this ongoing tussle, now it has been said by the Minister of External Affairs that India has always believed into the policy of non-alignment, and in no condition India will be making a camp such as NATO. Rather, into the present global order, there has been a geopolitical landscape which has been opened for the middle power nations, and Japan, India, European Union, etc., being an example of middle power, if want, can participate into such kind of ventures by which their geopolitical concern or issues could be addressed. So, guys, this could be an counter argument whenever the argument such as Asian NATO comes against the India. So, guys, as a reference, a very good example, you can use it into your answer. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, in this news, we can see an unusual twist. Friends, the last week's newspaper were filled with the Iran, Chabahar, and India issues because Iran had said last week that they are dropping India out from the Chabahar to Zahedan railway construction project, because it was said that Indian PSU, that is IRCON, has failed to provide the funding and crucial equipment for the railway project. And Iran had said that they, at their own independent level, they will be constructing this railway line, and this was said to be a major diplomatic setback. But now Iran had said that they will continue to work with the India onto the Chabahar line, and they are determined to have the cooperation. They have no intention to drop India out of this. But still further clarification from government of India's side are being awaited, and we need to see as how the matter will unfold into the days to come. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here we can see that a naval exercise has been conducted into the Indian Ocean region between the Navy of India as well as USA. And the name of this exercise is PASEX. So basically, PASEX is a passage exercise which ensures that the two navies are able to communicate with each other and are able to give the passage to each other during the time of war, crisis, or during the humanitarian relief. So, guys, basically the synchronization is tested by the PASEX exercise. Further, this is not the first time that India is conducting the PASEX with the USA. Earlier, also, the PASEX have been conducted by India with the countries such as Japan as well as France. But this one is important because right now, due to the ongoing high alert which is going on into the Indian Ocean region due to the India China standoff, this exercise it holds a important strategic dimension. And guys, the part of this exercise from Indian side were the four naval ships, that is Shivalik, Shayadri, Kamurta, and Rana, and was conducted near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And guys, further from the side of USA, the US Navy's USS Nimitz carrier participated, which happens to be one of the largest aircraft carrier into the USA. Now, guys, the same Nimitz, it earlier was present into the South China Sea into the aftermath of military drills being conducted by the China into the South China Sea. So, guys, that's all about this. Now we'll move to next. First of all, even before starting, guys, you can see a lengthy document here. Don't take the notes of this because already all this thing I have provided into the PDF. Now, guys, here we can see the newly implemented Consumer Protection Act, which had just came into the force on Monday. Now, friends, there are two things. One is the Consumer Protection Act, which has come into the force, and other will be the Consumer Protection Rules, which government is saying that will be announced within a week. Now, guys, as of now, up to the time the rules don't come, we can't actually comment that what will be there. But talking about the Consumer Protection Act. So, originally, for the first time, it came in force in 1986, where the rights of consumers, such as right to choose, right to remedy, etc., were recognized. But as the time passed, even more protection to the consumer is needed, and in that particular direction, the new Consumer Protection Act 2019 has been passed by the parliament. Now, guys, the most important feature of this particular act is that there is a provision of the Central Consumer Protection Authority CCPA, which has to be established by the central government, and it will take care that no right of the consumer is being violated and there are no unfair trade practices or misleading advertisements as they are against the welfare of the consumer. Moreover, guys, there will also be a proper investigation wing whose purpose will be to see that the consumer rights are not being violated. Moreover, for the first time, the proper prevention of unfair trade practice by e-commerce platform is also being introduced. So guys, now the sites such as Amazon, Flipkart also will be under the tighter scrutiny, and they need to provide the very clear information with respect to the return, refund, warranty, guarantee, delivery, etc. And guys, even if you remember, into the past few days we had discussed about the origin of country rules. So here it has been said that now the e-commerce also needs to write the origin of country onto the products. Moreover, there has also been a concept of a product liability, due to which the product manufacturer comes under the umbrella of compensation if there is any violation for the consumer. So guys, wide variety of rights have been provided. You just can remember 2 3 features if the question onto the exam comes. So guys, this is a much needed step into the direction of consumer empowerment, because we know that into the present economies, consumer happens to be a major driver into the economic growth. Moreover, not only the crucial dimensions, but into the new act, the dimensions such as the definition of consumer, definition of seller has also been mentioned, which will also remove much of the ambiguity. So that's it, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here just with respect to the prelims, we can see the launching of the Arab mission Hope, which will be exploring the Mars, and it has been launched from the Japan. Now, guys, there are two things. One is the rocket, which will carry the load payload, and other is the probe. So, guys, the probe has been developed by the UAE, and as I have told you, this is the first probe from the Arab world, and the rocket is from the Japan. Now, guys, the purpose of this particular probe is to study the atmosphere of the red planet, that is the Mars. Now, guys, this particular probe will be entering the orbit of the Mars somewhere around the February of 2021. Now, guys, this particular mission was announced in 2015 but has been delayed 2 times because of the bad weather, and yesterday finally it has been lifted smoothly. Further, guys, there have only been handful of countries which had successfully sent missions to orbit the Mars, and they are the United States, India, former Soviet Union, and the European Space Agency. Moreover, guys, very soon China is also planning to launch the rover onto the Mars, and that also we need to see. Moreover, guys, the year 2020 is also very important with respect to the Mars mission. And here in this year, only 3 countries will be sending mission to Mars. One we had seen, that is the UAE. Other, I have told you that the China will be sending. And now the USA will also be sending a new mission. Because 2020 happens to be year when the Earth is very close to the Mars's orbit, and therefore a tactical advantage is gained here to reach the orbit. Further, guys, see, the projects of the China and USA, they are the rover based. It means they will land onto the Mars. However, the UAE's project, it is not it will not be landing. It will just be making a orbit or the observation. So, guys, this is the entire thing in this particular regard. And now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here we can see that UK has decided to suspend the extradition treaty with the Hong Kong. First of all, the extradition treaty is signed between two countries so that some suspects, criminals, or offenders who had committed crime in one country and have run to other country, they can be brought back. So this bringing back is called as the extradition. So earlier the extradition treaty is there, but now as the China has imposed the national security legislation, now the UK wants to cancel such a treaty, because now onto the pretext of China there is a suspicion that there could also be the torture and the grievous injuries which might be caused to the people who had been extradited back. And even there is a possibility that the political dissenters can also be extradited by back onto some false charges. So therefore UK is now deciding to suspend. Now guys, the relation are going down because earlier into the month the Huawei, which is the key player into the 5G, has also been banned from the UK onto the charges of suspicion of the espionage. So guys, just as a reference, we can see the repercussions of the national security legislation onto the Hong Kong. However, much deeper we need not to go, as India is not directly involved here. So guys, that's it, and now we'll move to the question section. Guys, just please pause the video and try to answer the question. So first question is with respect to the sacred groves. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now guys, question number 2 is with respect to the NABL, that is the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Please identify the correct code. Now friends, the question number 3 is with respect to the administrative relations between the center and the state. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Guys, question number 4 is from the history with respect to the Newspaper Act of 1908. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now guys, today's mains question, we have kept it open ended so that you can also get a flavor of these type of questions, as they are now being asked into the UPSC onto the greater numbers. So the question says that the legislation to check mob lynching is just like a firefighting approach, as it represents deeper malaise of the fractured social environment. So guys, onto this line you need to discuss. Then it also says that also discuss the Supreme Court guidelines with regard to mob lynching. So guys, please write on this particular line, and tomorrow we will be discussing the framework for this question. So that's it friends, I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.